Bezalel. The story of Bezalel is found in the book of Exodus, where we see the Israelites journeying from Egypt towards the promised land. I know we are told that God knows the end from the beginning. And so he knew that one day the Israelites would be enslaved and that they would spend several years working and toiling for Pharaoh. And naturally, in the course of this sort of life, they would lose some of their culture, their tradition, perhaps even their faith. And so I believe he knew he would at one time have to, in a way, reintroduce himself to his own people. And so while they're journeying on their way to the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the Lord speaks to Moses and he says he would like him to build a dwelling place for his presence, what we know as the tabernacle. And he gives Moses details of how this place would be built, how even the articles that would be used inside the tabernacle to worship the Lord would be fashioned. He talks about the Ark of the Covenant, even the tents themselves, how they would be created. And he gives him in full detail the design of how he would like this tabernacle to look. But then he does something interesting. He speaks to Moses and he tells him, there is a man called Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, in whom I have placed the Spirit of God, in wisdom, in knowledge and understanding, in all areas of workmanship. That's the man that I want you to place in charge of building this tabernacle for me, for my presence. And so when I was reading this story, it struck me as interesting that while the Lord entrusted Moses with the design of this very special place, he had in mind who was actually to build it. And because he knows the end from the beginning, and he knows us even before he places us in our mother's womb, he knew that he would one day use this man called Bezalel for the construction of the dwelling place for his presence. And so what did he do? He filled this man with his spirit. He filled this man with gifts, talents, and even the skill to be able to do this work. And so as I was reading this story, I reflected on ourselves as people and even as Christians in the kingdom. And I began to think about our own gifts and talents and what God has placed in us for use, for his purpose. His purpose for our lives, yes, but his purpose more specifically for his kingdom. And it occurred to me that the same way the Lord knew Bezalel before he formed him, he knew me as well. He knew my brothers and sisters in the faith, and he knew what gifts and talents he would require for them to be able to use in whatever calling he's placed on them. And so this story was an interesting challenge for me to just go back and begin to discover what the Lord has placed in me, in myself, for use in his kingdom.